Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Good Hang. I'm really excited about our guest today. My old dear friend Seth Meyers is joining us today. And talking about friendship, Seth is such a good friend. And I talked to him about what friendship means to him. I try to guess his middle name. And we get tears, people. I get him crying more than once. So bingo, it's that kind of episode. But before we get started, we're always trying to ask people who know our guest to tell me questions to ask them. And joining me from the Cayman Islands on his vacation is the great producer of Late Night with Seth Meyers and ex-producer at Saturday Night Live, Mike Shoemaker. Shu, can you hear me? This episode is presented by Athleta. Summer is here. It's time to get outside and get active. And Athleta has just what women need to move the way they want. That's shorts for every type of run, from a casual jog on the beach to a competitive road race. There's skirts for on the court and pants for cool stretching. And there's always a matchback bra and top to complete your outfit. For stylish, innovative activewear, the choice can only be Athleta. Power of she. Shop now at athleta.com.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh my God. Where are we talking to you from?
Grand Cayman. The beach is over there.
Now, before we get into Seth, Shu, when I arrived at SNL in 2001, what was your title?
I think I was producer.
Mm-hmm.
I was there already 15 years. So I was, I knew what I was doing finally. I had my 1,000 hours so you didn't meet young fuck up Shoemaker.
And where did young Shoemaker get started at SNL? How did young Shoemaker get his start at SNL?
Script PA. My first job there was in 1986, which is a changeover cast. Dana, Victoria, Jan. And first thing was I came in and the job was to take a yellow legal pad written script out of a bin and type it up so that everyone could read it, because it's pre-computers. So big old Selectra typewriters. And I was actually hired because I had typing skills. And I could type fast and not make mistakes. So the first thing was a church chat. So I had to read Dana's scrawl with no punctuation. I always read the script first. Even one time you were there, I would put the read-through order in. So I got to read everything before a performance. So I got better at understanding everyone's performance style. I could never guess how Maya would pronounce a word still to this day, because she always will change it.
I cannot believe that Dana Carvey wrote church chat on yellow legal pad.
Literally, you could not find a period or a comma in it. He didn't know how to do them.
Yeah. So
it worked.
It worked. I mean, so Shoemaker was the guy, and it still is the guy. I've said this before publicly. You're the best producer I've ever worked with. I think you're an incredible producer. And now, how long have you been working at Late Night? Since the beginning?
So it's 11 years with Seth.
11 years.
I was at SNL until Amy and I left the same day, basically.
Yeah, Shu and I, we had a combined goodbye party.
Yes,
and
that is called my surprise party, because Amy set it up and didn't want to call it hers, but it was really ours.
Now, I'm talking to Seth today. I'm almost worried that I'm too relaxed. You know what I mean? Because I feel not at all nervous. It is a friendship that's so easy, and we can hang so easily that I feel kind of underprepared. I'm going to try to poke him a little bit with some things that'll get him a little mad, because it's a lot of fun when Seth gets mad.
It really is fun.
I know.
It is kind of the most fun.
Well, I hope someday you come on as a guest, because I do want to continue to talk about.
Amy, you have sponsors.
Yeah, that's true.
Bill Simmons.
Bill's never going to. No, there's no way he's going to let you on.
Those blue eyes would turn black saying, "What are you booking these fucking people no one ever heard of?" Just keep going with it. Famous people.
You're right. I'm sorry I even said that. There's no way you're going to be a guest. I mean, we literally just had Michelle Obama. No offense, you, but
yeah.
Don't call us. We'll call you. I mean, we're never going to get to you.
Tell Bill that.
I'm sorry, Bill. I even mentioned it. Okay. So what do you think I should be, what would you want to hear me ask Seth today? What do you think we should talk about? Anything big or small?
So the question that I want you to ask is that I think the reason that we all became a unit is because you and I saw him first. And by that, I mean, he felt seen by us before everyone else there did. I think that's accurate because you were kind of famous and I was a producer there 15 years, but he was like a feature player that you don't necessarily invest in the first year because you don't know what's going to happen. But we did. So we were the first people that he felt seen by. So my question would be, what does he think we saw? What does he think that we saw in him?
What a great question. As early investors to the Seth Meyers Corporation, what does he think we saw in him? He is going to have, that's a deep question, dude. He might turn into sand. Like when he might just turn into 1,000 crows and fly away. Like that just might be like, dirt. That might be what breaks him.
But also, he's a talk show host. So like compliments, like when people come on and compliment him, he has to end it and turn it around. So he will like say nice things about us and say like we were perceptive. Now you should allow that and don't edit that out. But also like put him to be fired, make him say like what qualities did he have? Because I think that will be a nice thing to hear out of him because he doesn't talk nicely about himself.
I know. I think Seth is probably least comfortable talking about himself. Right. And I relate. I would much rather talk about...
No, it's hard to get you to do it too. Yeah. Say something nice about yourself.
Now?
Yeah.
Well, I have a fantastic fake food collection in my podcast
I know, I've
studio.
seen it. It looks great.
And, I collected it. That's all that's all I can think of. Well, Shu, I love that you're taking a vacation. You work too hard. Congratulations on 11 years. We got to celebrate the 10 years together, which was great. I mean, I hope you do 10 more. You think you'll do 10 more?
I don't know.
What's TV? What's the world?
I don't know.
Is this TV?
It'll be like this, maybe.
Is this TV?
This is TV. This is TV.
Where I talk to you in over there, and then but you listen too. Yeah.
Right. That's how it works. That's TV.
All right. I love you. Thank you so much. And thank you, Catherine and Mike, for setting Mike up on this and doing this.
They're ready on the beach.
Okay, great. Okay, go to the beach. Thank you so much I love you so much. I'll see you very soon. Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye.
For those listening, Seth's already giving us a time where he needs to be out. He needs to be out by 12:10.
I don't feel like you respect other people's schedule.
I mean, I feel like
historically.
Before we've even started, Seth told me how long is this going to go? Glasses. Well,
hello.
Same kind
pretty similar.
Whoa, that's weird. You get tortoise show?
I tortoise, of course.
I am going to wipe my glasses on my pants. When did you start wearing glasses?
Within the last 6 months.
Really? You waited? You were that? You
I did
waited
a great
out
job,
that long.
and I think it's easier to do crack cocaine once than wear reading glasses once. You know what I mean? The minute you put them on, forever. Yeah. I put them on for like 2 seconds.
What's your prescription?
Just a 1.5. What are you?
Try it too.
I don't want to try to.
What? Because then I'll never go back. Too. But just try it. See how much better everything looks with it too.
It's unbelievable. It's really good.
Yeah. Let me try your ones. I'm not even going to feel those
Dratch?
ones.
See? immediately busted.
I wish. This is actually not so bad. I can see this pretty well.
So do it. Go back.
Yeah, maybe I should go back. Maybe I'm partying too hard.
What do you listen to your podcast on? Now that you're a podcaster, do you feel like that's an unfair question?
Thanks for calling me that. And you really are a podcaster.
Yeah.
You do too.
Mm-hmm.
What do I listen to my podcast on?
Yeah, I once said to a podcaster that I listened to them at 1.5 and they were hurt.
Oh, you mean fast? I never speed up.
What? You listen to podcasts slower? You slow it down?
I slow it. No, I listen regular. I never speed up.
Oh, interesting.
Sometimes I'll do the 10-second skip. Like if like a podcast gets like gross or something, or if I know, like.
What are you listening to?
This is my interview.
What podcast gets gross for 10 seconds?
This is my interview. We are with Seth Meyers, and he's already asking me questions. And Seth, I'm realizing we're sitting the way we used to sit at Update.
It is. It's our Update position.
And you also were sitting the way you usually sit on your show.
I'm very grateful that it's this.
Your
Well-
people insisted on it.
Did they?
No.
Good. But I feel very strongly about having a good side.
Okay. Thank you for saying that. A few people that have noticed that I've switched to another side.
Mm-hmm.
I started the first couple podcasts on that side.
That's why I thought you maybe did this for me.
And I did it for me because
Yeah.
I feel like I have a good side and it's this side. And you like that side?
I like this side. And if anybody wants to see our bad side, they can look at the Entertainment Weekly cover we did, which is the worst photograph of either of us.
Yeah. It was shot with a fisheye lens, I think.
They did us dirty.
And I was pulling your tie, like,
So-
and it
so
was like, would you like to see two asymmetrical faces look even weirder with this lens?
And I was so excited. That was a time in my life. I was so excited. We were on the cover of Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah.
And then I saw it and I felt unexcited.
I don't think there's been many photo shoots in my life where I've seen it and thought nailed it. I don't think I could maybe count them on my hand.
I feel very strongly, the thing we have in common is we have great faces that as long as they're moving.
Got to keep moving.
Got to keep moving.
But once they stop.
There's no good freeze frame as a whole.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
In fact, when we used to do photo shoots and they'd say like, don't worry, we're going to just do like a light retouch. I would say, eyes and a mouth. That's all I want to see.
Yeah.
I want the heaviest retouching you could ever do.
Yeah. Don't feel like you're doing me a courtesy of being like, we barely touched it. I'm like, go nuts. Get your best touch guy in here.
Get the wand and the like. I know there's a thing now of like being natural, like don't retouch.
Yeah.
But I'm against that.
100%. If you want to see the real thing, come see the real thing. Exactly. But otherwise, you're getting the retouch
if
version.
You're asking me to stay still, then we need to paint over. We need to change my nose and everything. No, but I feel like we've done a lot of photo shoots together over the years, and I bet you get what I get, what a lot of people get, which is they really want you to be funny.
Yeah.
And they want you to do funny things.
Yeah. I had a heartbreaking GQ photo shoot where first I walked in and the photographer didn't know who I was for the GQ comedy issue. So that put me in a headspace where I was maybe felt as though a mistake had been made.
Yikes.
And then I remember they had wanted, I think it was whipped cream from the and they wanted to spray it all over my face. And the amount I had to say, this will just look like
bad.
Yeah. Do you know what this also looks like on a face? And they were like,
oh. It's funny. They used to want to put a lot of weird stuff on my face too. One time a guy was like, I have an idea where your hands are covered in barbecue sauce and you have barbecue sauce all over your face. And I was like, okay.
It is, by the way, like people who get talked into like a young in their life, like maybe a pornographic photo shoot.
Yeah, very easy.
Could happen to me in a heartbeat. If anybody had ever shown a modicum of interest in that.
Yes, absolutely.
I would have been 100%.
And I think the same thing happened to you that happened to me where you'd go to a photo shoot and it was like you'd turn the corner and there'd be a table of rubber chickens and clown noses and giant props and you'd just be like, oh God, I'm being pimped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel as though they should save those for the dramatic actors and just let us look nice for once.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Okay, Seth Meyers. Kevin Meyers, what's your middle name? What's your middle name? Let me get it. I don't know it.
You don't have to
Seth, hold on.
Get it.
Get it. Seth.
Do you want
Zachary Myers.
How many hints do you want?
I'm going to get it. Seth Michael Myers.
You're going to get it without hints? How long do you think
I know your family. Seth David Myers?
No.
Oh. Seth.
Again, there's hints.
All right. Give me a hint.
It's an A name.
Oh. Seth Alexander Myers?
Mm-mm.
Seth Andrew Myers?
No. I was so worried because I know these are only an hour and I thought, I think it's going to go by so fast. And now I'm so happy we're using the time.
Seth Albert?
Nope.
Oh, that's your dog.
That's the dog's
family
name.
dog's name.
By the way, my dad, for those not in the know, we've had 6 Old English sheepdogs. They've all been named Albert. And then when we started giving all our kids A names, my dad was he admitted he was hopeful we were going to also name a kid Albert. And I said, no, I think you took it away.
Yeah, you can't.
If all the dogs hadn't been named Albert, there was a chance. But we weren't going to name our kid after a living dog.
Okay, one last guess. Don't cut this out. Don't cut the
No, this is good. People would like this.
This is good for
especially because I think people were tuning in and being like, you know what, I can't wait because they know each other so well. They've been friends for so long. And then what they get to do is listen to you just without hints, try to guess my middle name.
My last guess is Seth America Myers.
That is what I do like to. That's what I answer to. That's my full email. Adam.
Adam.
Yeah.
Sure. That makes sense. Okay, Seth Adam Myers, when did we first meet?
Well, I remember the first time we met probably better than you remember the first time we met, which is I was at I.O.
Improv Olympic, yeah.
And there was a Herald show.
Mm-hmm, which is an improv show.
And there used to be two different teams. And in the middle, there would be The Dream.
Yes, which was
an improvised game where somebody from the audience would come up, somebody on stage would interview them about their day, and then the two improv teams would improvise what their dream would look like. And I came up on stage and you interviewed me.
And it was not during a show with me and Tina. It was.
I also saw the show with you and Tina.
Oh, you saw
later.
it. Okay, yeah. Right. But we didn't call you up. Right. So I interviewed about your day, and we did not know each other.
We did not know each other. I was a fan of yours, and it was very exciting to get interviewed by you. But then the next time we spoke was after we both got hired.
Do you believe in the simulation? Do you believe that like there's some kind of universal thing where like basically that people come in and out of your life in different ways and you didn't really...
I do a little bit, yeah.
Me too, because that's a very simulation thing.
Can I tell you though something? Yesterday, I got the same Uber driver on back-to-back days in Giant City, Los Angeles. And I got in the car and I was like, can you believe this? And it meant nothing to him. And it was so disappointing. Yeah.
What's his name?
Well, that was the thing.
Oh, you didn't even find out.
No, I know. So that's why I remembered. His name was Mush.
Mush?
M-U-S-H. So I might be saying it wrong, but like.
Wow.
So that's one of the reasons. I was like, there can't be two.
Right.
And I was like, hey, Mush.
I'm back. You said, I'm back.
Yeah. It did feel like a Curb episode where I was a very frustrated Larry David. It's like, Mush.
Hey, remember me? And he's like, no, I'm just trying to get you to the Grove.
Yeah.
Okay. So and then the dream happened. Mm-hmm. We improvised your day.
Yep.
Cut to you and I starting at the same time at SNL. People may not know this, but we were both there post 9/11, and our first show was 2 weeks after it. And there was like a very interesting. We were part of a freshman class. It was 4 people got hired.
Yep.
It was who was it?
Dean Edwards.
Yep.
Jeff Richards.
Yeah.
You and I.
Yeah, and then for writers.
Spivey.
Emily Spivey.
Max Brooks.
Yes.
Charlie Grandy?
Maybe Charlie Grandy? Yeah. And we all kind of came in together and we kind of met in Shoemaker's office as a lot of young new people did to like kind of get the lay of the land. But I think we might have like met each,
Yes. I'm going to say something and hopefully I won't get too emotional saying it, but I remember like getting hired at SNL was already.
Cry. Oh my God, Seth.
I'm going to put on my glasses. This will make it easy. No, but like I remember getting hired at SNL was like already like, but they said, and Amy Poehler also got hired. And I was like, oh, I felt even elevated that I was like, oh, I'm in Amy Poehler's class. You know what I mean? That was, yeah.
For those that can't see, Seth has tears in his eyes.
I don't think I do. But
I feel. You almost cried. You're such a crier.
Oh, I'm such a crier.
You love to cry. And
I love to cry.
I'm going to make you cry.
I also only cry historically about stuff that makes me happy.
Say more. What do you mean?
Well, like I don't think I cry a lot when I'm sad.
When you're sad, yeah.
Well, like I know a lot of people who are like,
God forbid you express how you feel when you're sad.
No, when I'm sad, I think it's like
turn into a rock, like
a little rock guy, little rock guy that everybody loves the company of rock man.
Okay, so we started SNL at the same time.
Yep.
And speaking of that time, I love your podcast. I've told you this. I've been on them. I've participated in them. You do family trips with the great Josh Myers, your brother and partner on that podcast. And you do, what's it called? The Seth Meyers
and
Lonely
Island and Seth Meyers
podcast.
It was only fair to put them first as we're really only talking about their work.
And that podcast is incredible.
It's a joy.
It's so good. I want to talk to you about it. But on both of them, you have like, as I've listened, you slowly I've learned something about you that I don't think I really took in, which was those early years were harder for you than I thought.
They were so hard.
I know.
Cry. But I would have guessed the two people who knew the most would have been you and Shoemaker.
Okay.
So but I will say, I am happy that I kept it hidden the way that I did. Because I don't think like when you present the feelings that I was having at SNL, I think that is not a vibe that people want to like be around.
Right. And it can become like a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So I did.
But what was the vibe then, if you were to distill it down? What was the feeling then?
I just felt as though they'd made a terrible mistake, right? Like just full imposter syndrome. And I showed up and pretty quickly, I think, to go back to what I said, like I was so excited, oh my God, they're hiring me the same time as Amy Poehler. And then you walk down the hallway and you're like, oh my God, I'm in the same show as Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan and Tracy Morgan. And you're like, look, I'm one of them. And then you realize like, no, like you then have to like do the work and show that you're, at the same level. And those early years as well, I just had that sense of I can write for this show, but like, I don't know if they actually like need what I bring as a performer to this show. And I don't feel like I was being hard on myself either. There
were a lot of guys in your time, like a lot of.
Well, in the early days, it felt as though I could see the road ahead of me because I forgot that thing, which is when people like Will Ferrell and Jimmy Fallon leave Kattan. That doesn't mean like you get their parts because they also hire people behind you. And that was for me the real crisis of confidence was, and again, I say this, these are dear friends, these are people I'm huge fans of, but like when like Sudeikis and Sandberg and Fred and Will and Hader rolled through.
Yeah.
And I would be writing sketches knowing that if I was not a cast member, I would not write for me. Like if it wasn't my job to take care of myself and I just wanted my sketch to air, I would be my sixth choice too. So I early on, I kind of wanted to like blame the writing staff for not putting me in things. And I'm like, oh, I mean, if you have this toolbox at your disposal, I understand that.
Well, reaching. I think that's what's so wonderful about you, and also what can be painful is you're not a deluded person.
No,
you don't have the like warm bath of delusion.
Right.
That some people are like, you are a very realistic person. So you're able to look at things very realistically and be like, I have to figure this out.
Yes.
And I did feel that vibe. Okay, so we do this thing on our show where we ask people beforehand to give me questions for the guest. So I talked to Shoemaker.
Okay. Good pick.
Yeah, of course. I knew I would like, he is technically your
It would have been so funny if Shoemaker
partner.
was like, I'm a little tired of talking about Seth.
He's in the Cayman Islands right now, so we got him when he was on vacation. And
I, by the way, called him on the way here.
He just texted me and said, I'm ghosting Seth, so tell me when you're done.
He did fully ghosted me.
Yeah, he said, I'm not picking up.
And then I was like, oh, well, and then when you said you were talking to him, like, obviously you called him before he was in the Cayman Islands, but no.
No,
he just picked up from
purely
you right
ghosted you. I mean, and you two are like in another life, you are brothers in arms, you are each other. Like if you believe in.
I mean, I'm pretty good with what we are in this life. I think he is as close as I could be to a person.
Yeah, you have an amazing friendship.
Yeah.
And he gave me a question to ask you that I love so much. Is the best question, of course, because Shoemaker's such a good producer and writer and friend. But he gave me, I think, the best question I've been given yet. Now, I've only done like 6 episodes.
Yeah.
So. But
while he was on with you, did the doorbell ring and did 1,000 dogs bark?
Thank you again for doing that, by the way. I owe all of you a lot. I mean, I owe Dratch like half of the money.
I feel like it's the movie I've been in that I get the most feedback on. I think that's 60 seconds. The amount in the last month, people have been like, oh my God, I can't stop watching the clip.
I can't either.
Where Dratch's headphones tangle and then the doorbell rings. It's like watching a one-person show.
It is. It is like watching a Broadway, like a clown on stage, like a farce.
It's like somebody said, do noises off in a minute. Just you.
And people don't know, we cut so much out of that because Dratch couldn't get her headphones truly untangled for minutes.
Yeah.
And then couldn't figure out how to plug it in, and then they weren't working, and then the doorbell rang. So we cut a lot out.
Yeah. And then her laptop died. She was carrying around like a pizza box around her whole apartment.
And thank God for you, because you were the only one that was trying to keep it going. because Fred's just watching.
Oh yeah, Fred.
Zarna was on set, I think, so she could barely hear. And you were like, so how's it going, Amy? I was like, it's going good. I think it's going good so far. Oh, Dratch. Okay, but nice try trying to fake me out so that I don't ask you this question. But Shu said, let me ask you this, which is, I would agree that in those early years, him and I saw something in you. We kind of invested early in the Seth Meyers Corporation. What do you, oh my God, I'm getting him to cry. Oh my God, you guys, I wish we could zoom in. This might truly come true. I'm getting you to cry. Okay, this is a specific kink that people are people are gonna, this is like a kink.
Okay.
Wait, we have tissues. Where are they? Sam. Oh my God, thank you, Sam. You have good tissues.
You have good tissues. Oh my God, this is what the show's always. If you have this is a trap.
I just want to remind you, we only have a few minutes left with our session.
Everyone else. All it is with Jack Black is like, your joy. Talking to Ike about restaurants. What is going on? Is this everything? Is this not even a podcast? This is like just six fake episode traps.
If you look past the camera, there's a bunch of friends and family that love you and want to talk to you about something.
Oh my God.
We just think you need to get some help. And we're just using this opportunity. Okay.
What's the help?
Here. Oh. And if you need to squeeze his cheeseburger, you can.
This will help. What is it?
What do you mean, what is? This is all fake food.
What is this podcast? I've listened to every episode. I had a real sense of it. I'm like, it's food-based.
Okay. If you get nervous, just talk into these bananas. Okay. But what do you think, Shoemaker and I, what do you think we saw in you?
This is very unfair. I feel, again, this is very unfair.
I
don't know. I mean, like, to be honest, like, one of the things that I feel most grateful for is I don't know. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I know to this day, like, I don't make it on that show without you guys. Mm-hmm. And I think that I was very lucky that Lorne saw me through your eyes and Shoemaker's eyes, because I don't know if I don't feel like I feel like Lorne has been is obviously a fan of mine now and has a lot of faith in me, but like that getting over that. He thinks
you're okay. He thinks you're fine.
Is this a quote?
He sent me I said I'm interviewing Seth today, and he went, "Oh, Seth's fine. He's okay." That's what he said.
Did you? Lorne gave a quote in the New York Times about me.
Yeah, please say it again. It's so
genuine, like 2 quotes that are like insanely. It's all I heard from everybody in our world was how fucking funny the Lorne quotes were. One was, "I love Seth," or "I care for him," or whatever it is you're allowed to say these days. Which is it's the funniest. I'm like, I think Incredible. You misunderstand whatever you think woke is. You're allowed to say you love a male friend. Like, he's like, I love him. Like, he like backtracked, like he's like, I don't want to get canceled.
I don't want to get caught loving my friend.
And then the reporter was like, Seth's really good at it. I think Seth's a really gifted impressionist. And he's like, I don't know if I'd go that far. And I believe he said, I think he's fine. Which is the best.
The best.
Gifted was a little over the top.
Yeah. So when we did Update together, which was so fun in a million different ways. And there's like, when I think about us being at the desk together, I think of 2 things. One, I had ease because I had gotten to do it with Tina. Like, I just genuinely felt a little more relaxed. I was so trying to figure out how to do this thing when I was doing it with Tina, who had done it with Jim. Like, it was like this passing. But what we also got to do together in real time was like figure out how we were going to do it together.
Yeah.
And the way in which we're going to do it. And because you and Shoemaker and previously like Mike Schur and Alex Bays, I was right. Like, the team was so strong of Update writers and people, it just felt like you were in a club within a club. You were on SNL, but then you also got another secret key.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about it. Being on Update, you could relax that you were actually going to be on the show.
Yeah.
That made such a difference.
We talked about this recently, I think in the Lonely Island pod, but I remember Andy wrote this sketch called That'll Move the Chains, where he was a kid in like in the booth of a football game, and he kept saying That'll Move the Chains. And it worked. It was fine. It was very funny. I'm underselling it. But then he came in my office like a month later. He goes, I think we're going to write another That'll Move the Chains. And I said, another? Because it just struck me. It didn't strike me as a recurring character.
Yeah.
And I just said another. And he goes, not everybody has Update every week. I was like, all right. Like because again, I got to go from that thing of like desperately fighting to find a way to have a reason to get in hair and makeup on Saturday to having Update.
Yes. And then also you got to say your name.
Got to say my name. Obviously not my middle name.
Nope. Never said your middle name.
I feel like the most tense our chemistry ever had was Update mornings, bagel times.
Yeah.
Because someone had pre-split the jokes, and then there were a few like left over that we both wanted. And I feel like there was a real dance of...
Interesting. I would say that I thought I would have hidden that, but that's probably true. I think we were like, are you going to take that joke?
Yeah, it's like,
I wonder who takes the good joke here.
Yeah. Here's how I saw it from you. It's like, that feels like a Amy joke. Do you want it? And I'd be like, I mean, I would love it. It would mean a lot to me as a friend. I'm asking for it. And you're like, it's a really Amy joke.
I just feel like it's going to kind of flop. And then I would go, I hex this joke. I would hex it.
Yeah, you would hex it.
I would like, curse you and I curse this joke.
And then if I had the few times you let me have it, you would be off camera while I was telling it, going.
Thumbs down. I don't remember us ever fighting at all.
That was it. It was just that like
where... We did argue. I would say that one of the things, like, I don't think we ever got into it. We never were, but we like to, I mean, look, really came out of that, right?
Yeah.
Like this, we like to be frustrated and irritated. And I don't mind being frustrated and irritated with people that I'm close to. That is like a way of...
My favorite thing is when you and I feel very differently about a movie or a TV show. Yeah. Like that when we have different opinions about something, because it's very fun when you're mad about something.
Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to give you a couple of things I want to know your opinion on it.
Okay.
The beach.
Oh, I'm not a huge fan. I'm coming around on the beach just because my kids like it, but given a choice, it would be one of the last places I would be.
What do you not like about it?
What are you going to do there that wouldn't be better anywhere else? Like
see the ocean,
but like you can see the ocean from like a porch somewhere, right? Like there's a lot of vantage points on the ocean that are not in sand.
You don't like the sand, like you have a sensory thing.
It's just, here's the thing. Everybody that wants to go to the beach, then I go to the beach, and then they're like, get the sand off. Like the amount they're like, don't get sand in the car. I'm like, I didn't even want to come here. You know what I mean? Like I was so happy. You could have left me where I was. The sand would never have been a problem.
So I love the beach. Yeah. And that's where we disagree. Ayahuasca.
No interest.
No.
Yeah. Have you?
No.
Yeah.
That one feels like the combo of, I always feel like there's a white bucket around that people are puking in. And I'm always like, first of all, let's, I don't know, decorate the buckets or something. Like it just feels so
seems
stressful.
Like weird to not decorate the buckets.
Like it just seems like very stressful.
Can I say that I think you might be the only person to have this bounce on ayahuasca is that they don't decorate the buckets?
The puke buckets. And also other people. I mean, I guess maybe, but like maybe if I could do it, if I had like a ayahuasca guy, like a private guy, but it seems like you have to do it with a bunch of other people.
There's also, I feel like I've known a few people who've done it and they tell you it's changed their life. And then you like talk to them 3 months later and they seem a lot like they were before.
They bounce right back.
they bounce right back to, it turns out once the ayahuasca's out of their system.
How do you feel about getting older?
That's a good question. I turned 50 last year.
Congrats.
And thank you.
You didn't?
I turned 51 this year. So
I feel
like
51. You didn't celebrate prop.
Look, I'm in that dead, no bars, cell service, December 28th. Yeah. There's no room for somebody like me to have a birthday. And I'm fine with it. It's been my whole life.
Why don't you have a birthday like a half birthday when you're 51 or something? I know that's even as I said it sounds so stupid. We all got that invite. We'd be like, "Is Seth okay?"
He lost his mind. I felt totally fine turning 50, but then I think part of it was because it was 50. I was like taking stock, and I'm like, "This is, you know what? I would be very happy if I knew all these things were going to happen to me by the time it's 50. This is really good." With that said, like I think as it's like 51 and a half or whatever it is now, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't dig this as much. Here's that thing that happened to me the other day.
Stop pointing. Seth's pointing at me. Don't point my French bread at me. Yeah.
Had a dream that I was being chased and I was crawling through one of those transom windows over a door, you know? And then I woke up, my neck hurt. And I was like, I hurt myself from a dream. Because I was trying to crawl through it.
You pulled your neck in a dream.
I pulled and like, what happened? It's like, well, in my dream.
What kind of sleeper are you? Do you fall asleep fast?
I do.
And then do you sleep through the night and do you snore?
We're now wearing mouth tape.
Okay, I want to talk about mouth tape. I talked about CPAP with Jack Black. I would like to switch to mouth tape. Sorry, I don't want to abandon my CPAP people.
Yeah.
My CPAP army. I'm sure they're out there right now.
Your
papple? My
Your CPAPple?
But I would love to get to a mouth tape.
You're a papple person.
I'm a papple person. Yeah, of course. I'm not an animal. But I'd like to get to a mouth tape, and I have tried a mouth tape.
Okay.
I'm a little worried about, I'm hooked on the moisture that I get from my CPAP. You know, you get like moist air. It's really nice for the nose.
Yeah.
You don't get that with mouth tape.
No.
What kind of mouth tape are you using?
You have a giant staff. What if one of them just stood over the bed with a little spray bottle and just, so many, because when I see your staff, and I'm polite to them, by the way, which they seem to really appreciate.
And they very much appreciate it.
But a lot of them are like, we feel like there's not enough for us to do.
Well, no, I like to have them work on the holidays, and you always wish them a Merry Christmas, and I appreciate that.
You're allowed to again.
You're allowed to.
Say Merry Christmas
That's
again.
Right.
It's really nice.
Right.
What was I going to say? Oh, so yeah, I was shocked because I do have a hard time breathing through my nose. I feel like I've been stuffed up almost the entirety of my life. And yet, when you tape, I think it kind of forces you to like early in the night, you're just like breathing through your nose, you're keeping the airways open. I'm a big fan of it.
I'm thinking about switching over to tape.
Now, I should say, and I hope this won't disabuse you of making the switch. One night a week, I wake up at 3 a.m. and do this. So if that sounds jarring to you or whoever might be in the room.
That would be good for a commercial for mouth tape.
By the way, because you mentioned butt tape with Jack Black. Do you remember the Fred's breathe right?
Oh wait, you mentioned it on. I must have been in my.
It was really
because you guys just mentioned it on your podcast.
Really
tell people for those that didn't hear.
It was a breathe right strip. It was a Fred commercial parody. It was a breathe right strip for your butt that would pull the way because breathe right pulls the nose apart to make it easier to breathe, and so this pulled the butt apart so that when you pass gas, it wouldn't be loud, and it wouldn't wake up the person in bed with you. But it has the best tag because it's it's him in bed with wig, and it's quiet. You just hear like, psst. But then she still goes, "Oh, what's that smell?" Because it doesn't get rid of the smell. It just doesn't make noise anymore.
And I remember her being disgusted. By him.
Really good. Yeah. Really good disgusted wig.
Okay, what about what people do at airports to drive you nuts?
What do people?
Well, like let me ask you this: what time do you arrive for a flight?
A lot of cushion.
Mm-hmm. For the pushing.
A lot of cushion.
Sorry. Sorry.
I feel like you don't even care. I feel like this was another trap. We get there very early. We never check.
Never check a bag. Absolutely not.
It's kind of stunning.
You can board. Hey, you have young kids, so you can board.
Yeah, although
that's such a scam.
By the way, we are now well outside the zone of what they mean by if you're boarding with a young family.
That's not true. Your kids are still young enough.
I think they mean toddlers.
Oh wait, because your youngest is how, Addie?
3.5.
No, I would say. By the way, as a judgmental person at the airport, I would not mind that.
And I think everybody realizes it is better for us to get on first. I don't know.
Sure. I mean, I think that's a little bit of a, like there's so many people now that board with young children, but you're right. When I had young children, it was nice to be able to
It's also nice for everybody else. I'm just saying, like, if they let you on before the boarding starts and our maniacs are in their seats.
But I know you can be kind of hypervigilant like I am about when people are doing stuff wrong or getting it wrong or whatever. And I feel like the airport is the ultimate version of that.
Yeah.
Like every single interaction is about power struggle and like, or at least for me, figuring out how I can be more efficient next time and hoping other people will follow suit and just like trying to practice my system in a place where everybody has their own system.
The worst mistake I made, I took just Axel to visit my parents and we went to the airport and Axel who's the most unique of my kids. He just ran full speed and just slid across the airport floor. And I made the mistake of laughing and now he does it. And it's that bummer of I'm so sure the next time he does it when we're with the whole family, Alexia will be like, as you should, because they're filthy floors.
Right.
Like, don't do that. And he'll be like, Daddy liked it.
Daddy liked it. Yeah. I know. But that sounds like a great move.
He kind of, without ever seeing
an old... Did he end in like an old...
That's what I mean. Without seeing an old breakdancing video, he really ends. Like,
he ended with his head in his hands?
Yeah.
The kid's funny kid.
He's a funny kid.
He is a funny kid. Okay, speaking of funny, you're performing with John Oliver.
Yeah.
How do you like doing a show with him and with somebody else? Like you stand up, you love it. What's good about it?
Well, first of all, I really like John as a person. And so we have a friendship where we would never see each other socially. And so just because of our schedules, and now we get to hang out once a month. Like one Sunday a month, we like hang out and we get there for sound check and then we have like an hour to talk, which is great. And Brooks Wheelan, who used to be on SNL, is our opener. So the three of us have a very lovely relationship. The other thing is, especially now, because I had a special come out, and so I'm doing new material, and it's lovely to know that the audience is getting John as well.
Well, I mean, I've never met John. He seems lovely.
Can I say something? I feel like so few people have both notes and the laptop.
You know what? Okay, a couple of things. The laptop is a prop. Yeah, this is made out of chocolate. This is edible.
When it's over.
So Bill Simmons asked me about the laptop, and he was like, "Do you need it?"
Yeah.
And the reason why I like the laptop is because I feel like I can look things up very slowly.
Right.
And and I can find things on here that, like, for example, I can use this laptop to Seth. What are you watching, listening to? Where do you go to escape? What do you do? Do you watch something? Do you like the world is on fire?
Yeah.
Everything feels intense. This podcast for me is an attempt to just like try to connect in a fun, dumb way. What do you watch, do, see?
I'm going to answer your question.
And I'm going to get on the laptop.
Great.
And for those that are listening, listen to this.
But I want to say, so you got that from an old submarine?
I don't know why it's making that noise.
So wait, and that tells you where the nearest submarine is.
I'm tracking my submarine.
I'm very excited about what's happening right now with this podcast.
Thank you.
No, but I think it's the purest form of you.
Thanks.
From the perspective of people who know you. You've done great work everywhere, but like the amount of people who've said to me like, "Oh my God, is she really like that?" Like people love this so much, and it's such a joy to be like, "Yes, this podcast is pure Poehler."
Thank you for saying
Leslie Knope's the best, but you're cooler than Leslie Knope, and
well, Leslie is a harder worker than I am, and she's less
because you have complained a lot
cynical.
to me about how hard it is to do a podcast already. And you were like 7 episodes in.
So tiring. Like I'm literally exhausted.
Leslie Knope would never.
Never. She'd do 5 a day.
You're such a good listener too. I think that's
Thank
why.
you.
And so
I think that this is,
again, your skills as a listener on full display, and you're the best audience. Like, you've always been such a good audience.
Thanks, dude. I feel the same way about you. I think this is why your show is such an incredible triumph, is you are very, very good at making people feel like they're being heard, and you enjoy a good time. Those two things are not, like, you need those two things in a host.
And I love people being if anything you do to facilitate them being the best version of themselves is a joy.
But do you ever feel when you're doing interviews, like, do you ever check out and you're like, oh shit, I haven't been listening?
No, I think I take that part so.
You do?
Yeah. I think the worst thing, my nightmare is,
yeah, I've been there a couple times already.
Really?
Where I've been future tripping in my head about what I'm going to say next, and then someone's talking and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to what they said.
Yeah.
So
I think I
Did you feel it at all?
Well, there were 2 times where people said a really sad thing and you said, ha ha ha, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I said LOL.
The Reddit page of this podcast is already like, oh my God, she did it again.
LOL. And then I said lots of love, lots of love.
It is the save. It's funny because you both times thought you saved it, and everybody. What did you just see on your? You just saw
my laptop is at the low battery. It's about to run out. It's at the lowest red line.
I think
I forgot
obviously
to charge it.
It took a lot of battery to make those sound effects. That's just sucking. That's sucking the battery right out of that thing.
Seth, what do you look at?
You know what I like? We mentioned British people.
Pointing again.
I like watching British people break.
Ooh.
There's that like Jimmy Carr show. There's like a panel show. I think it's called 8 out of 10 Cats. I've never watched a full episode, but I keep getting served short clips of like British panelists making other British panelists laugh. I just like watching British people break. I feel like, see, you're not better than us.
You're such an Anglophile.
Yeah, I am.
You really are. You love Brits.
I do.
So you like people trying not to laugh, or just like chat shows, panel shows?
Yeah,
like
I mean, in general, I like, it's like watching an old Carol Burnett clip. But I do like
corpse.
But I feel like British people try really hard not to break. So when they break it, I don't know. It brings me more satisfaction.
Okay, so I have one last question, Seth.
That's it?
I mean,
this has been just lovely.
Has it? Well, you know what, though? I do want to talk to you about your podcast, because that podcast is one of my favorites.
Thank you.
Love those Lonely Island man boys.
Man boys.
They were so important to all of us.
Yeah.
I love the memory lane that you guys go down. But what is so funny to me still is the way that everybody is themselves on that podcast. Like the way in which everybody shows up to it, participates in it, what they remember, how you guys interact with each other. Like, what is it like doing that with them?
It's so fun because, one, I love them so much, and I can't remember the last time all 4 of us talked together, or even had a meal together.
Yeah.
And I've been saying, like, there's so much written about like how as men get older, they have no friendships. So you got to start a podcast. To all lonely men. Start a podcast.
Well, I think every man has done that, because every single podcast I see is just filled with lonely men trying to make friends.
True story. During the pandemic, you remember my friend Doug Stradley? Stradley the best. And Stradley and I are in a fantasy football league. We did a weekly podcast just about the fantasy football league that the other 10 guys would listen to. That was what we were doing during the pandemic. And it was like, and then when I started doing professional podcasts, I had to stop that one. And like to those 10 guys, they're like, we totally get it. You're doing real podcasts now, but man, we missed the Stradley podcast.
You have a lot of old college friends.
I got a good, and improv friends. Like I feel very lucky.
Well, it's not just luck, Seth.
Yeah, I put a lot of work into cultivating. Yes.
You do. And that's what Shoemaker and I were talking about, is the kind of friend you are. You are very, very good at friendship.
I feel like it might be the thing I'm best at.
You are excellent at friendship. Why is friendship so important to you? What does it do for you? What has it done for you?
I just love having... God, I thought I was out of the woods.
For those listening, I just want you to know his eyes are glistening again.
I just love my friends, and I've been so lucky to have them. It's just the best. I feel like I get so much more out of them than I put into it.
And what do they do for you? Because some people, friendship is something that, yes, everybody loves friendship, but they don't participate in it the way you do. You are a very loyal, consistent, and and meticulous friend. You pay attention to your friends. They feel very seen by you. I can speak for myself. And you get such delight in your friendships.
Well, I think that like seen is a really good way to put it, because I like who I am through the eyes of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So it would break my heart to, not be held in high opinion by the people I care the most about.
You like how you feel when you can see how they see you.
Whenever I'm like, how am I doing as a person?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I take stock of who my friends are, I feel very good about who I am as a person.
And you have a lot of female friends.
I do.
Great, like a great number. I count myself as one of them. Women in your life who are your friend, who you're deeply tender to, and very like, you really like take care of us and you care about us. And you you and Shoemaker are the only men that are ever allowed even close to a lot of the SNL women. We gather together as a group. Yeah. And just recently we let you sit with us for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we said, I think it might have been, maybe it was Tina, but
Tina said, thank you for coming and also thank you for leaving.
Yeah. Well, on the way there, I said, Seth, heads up, we're meeting and I think you have about a half an hour window. Yeah. And you said, fine, I'll take that. And then we sat down at the steakhouse and you hung, and then Tina said, and now it's time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, can I point out my favorite observations about you guys as a group?
Yes.
You needed a second table for all your jackets. And every one of you had 2 totes.
Yeah.
And most of the meal, again, I think if people saw the 7 women that were there, they would be like, oh my God, how funny was it? And I would say mostly they were looking through their totes. And at no point were less than 2 people looking through a tote for something.
Well, yeah, because we had put it in the other tote.
Comedy legends.
Yeah.
Rustling through totes.
And it was like it was a lot of hand me my tote. And it was like, is this my tote?
A lot of matching totes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we had gotten some totes.
Matching totes and puffy coats is how I would describe it. It was the SNL 50th week and it was very cold.
It was.
But we
were all dealing with like a lot of temperature. So our bodies, we're of a certain age, we get hot and cold really fast. So it was a lot of putting on coats, taking off coats.
It was a lot.
And a lot of like, oh my, I'm so hot. And then taking the coat off and then handing it to you to put at the table.
Every coat was louder than the next coat. Just when you moved the coat, it was like the sail of a schooner, which is like... Very hard to hear any conversation due to the rustling.
Which is weird because we were shouting at each other. We do shout at each other across the table very loudly.
Yeah. Also, Paula Pell, within like 5 seconds had set up a home office at a third table.
You're right. She got a third table because she had to do some rewrites.
It was rewrites,
during
like
the show week.
Real-time rewrites on SNL 50th. She was immediately had like a laptop and also like a TV monitor hooked up.
There's also, when we all go out, there's a ton of food panic.
Yeah. When
are we going to get our food? Who ordered? What should we order? And we all fall into very specific categories about like how fast we should order. And
there was a lot of talk about what you guys were going to get. And as soon as the server came over, the minute they spoke, everybody forgot everything that had been agreed upon.
Yeah.
And because it went right back to square one.
Yeah. And don't forget, I'm a woman of a certain age. I need like 85 grams of protein a day. So we were just like, how many steaks? We need to get like 40 steaks?
They put us in a private room where you could have a wedding. That's how big it was.
Yeah, they knew what they were dealing with.
And yet within like 10 minutes, I thought we might need a second room. The sprawl.
Well, luckily, in 10 minutes, we asked you to leave because it was enough time.
It was so much. That putting on and taking off coats. Sometimes I think of an SNL sketch just at the table that for whatever reason stays with me forever. Do you remember Fred did a sketch once where he was someone at a dinner party who kept taking off and putting on a scarf? Yeah.
Yes. The longest scarf.
It was a really long scarf. And he kept being like, oh my God, it's so hot. And he would take it off. And it was like, he had to like loop it around his head. And he had a practical scarf. And he'd loop it around his head like 10 times while everybody waited. And then he'd start telling a story. He's like, oh my God, it gets so chilly. And then just looping. I think about it all the time. Like,
did it make it on air?
No. But I can't. I think about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Fred, I think Anildo was his. Do you remember his court stenographer character?
Oh, yeah.
And it was...
They had a name?
I think
his court stenographer had a name?
I think Anilda.
Anilda?
I think. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Typed like this.
Oh, kind of a little bit like this.
It was a lot like that. But also pause the trial a lot to look through her bag and just would say over and over, I can't find my chapstick. I can't find my chapstick. I would say I don't see a scarf without thinking about the first one or hear somebody say chapstick without thinking about the second.
Fred Armisen is like, we talk about him all the time on here. Like, he is truly like the funniest of the funny people, I think. Yeah. I'm actually going to see Fred this weekend. Tina and I are going to do a show. I don't know when this will come out. Your people said they were going to review it and see if it's good enough. I got to run it by like a bunch of lawyers and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I got a cry guy.
Yeah, you got.
He's going to make some cuts.
The cry guy's going to make some cuts.
He's like a super jacked. He's like he makes my protein shakes every morning. And he's like, you got to stop crying on these pods, man.
How many times you cry? And you're like, 3. And he's like, 3.
Give me the tape.
He's like, we've been working on one, bro. You get 1 cry a day, bro.
And then the worst is he's so mean. And then I just start to tear up.
Yeah.
And then it's like just awful. And then I will say he's like, I'm sorry. He's really sweet. He's really sweet.
He is sweet.
He's like, oh my God, I'm the root of the problem. I'm supposed to be here to solve the problem.
That's why I'm called the cry guy.
Yeah, and then he gives me a big hug and like broke my rib. He's so jacked.
He squeezes all the tears out, puts them in a cup and drinks it. So can men and women be friends?
No.
Yeah, they can't. All right, well. Seth, I love you so much.
I love you too.
This has been so fun. Thank you for doing it. Let's get our glasses on.
I'm going to take this with me because I know what people can do with DNA.
Yeah,
fucking don't want to come back here
surprise!
next time.
You're a dad. This is your child. You're like, what?
What? I just cried a little bit.
I'm like, we get to pre-board at the airport now with your child that I got from a tissue. Anyway, I love you so much.
I love
Thanks
you
for
too.
doing this. I love you in LA.
This was a good hang.
Such a good hang, and I can't wait to come back and do your stuff. Although you guys don't really have guests, but
oh yes, I thought you meant my talk show, and I'm like, yeah, we do.
Talk show.
Do you want to guess my brother's middle name? I think people are disappointed that was just the one.
Christopher.
Fine.
Well, that was a great podcast with my old buddy, Seth Meyers, who I love talking about the past with, and I love talking about the present with, and the future. And, I just wanted to take this minute to plug the stuff that he's doing. And he told me if I didn't do it, he would sue me. So, Family Trips, his podcast with his brother, Josh Dylan Myers. Great, hilarious stories about family trips and what ensues. And then the Lonely Island and Seth Meyers podcast is a great podcast to listen to if you care about the minutia of SNL and how it's made and all the guests that came through. Those guys are the best, and it's so fun listening to them. And I listen to them every week. And check those 2 things out. And thank you, Seth, for joining us. And thank you for listening, and never know how to end these things. Okay, bye. You've been listening to Good Hang. The executive producers for this show are Bill Simmons, Jenna Weiss-Berman, and me, Amy Poehler. The show is produced by The Ringer and Paper Kite. For The Ringer, production by Jack Wilson, Kat Spillane, Kaya McMullen, and Aleya Zenieris. For Paper Kite, production by Sam Green, Joel Lovell, and Jenna Weiss-Berman. Original music by Amy Miles.